everybody. Jeffrey Powers here with Geekazine.com over Geekazine.com. How you doing? This is another episode, the fine episode of the OTT, where we talk about over-the-top television, cutting your cable, and if, of course, you use the internet as your primary TV interface. My name is Jeffrey Powers. You can find me over on Twitter at Geekazine. Of course, you can also find me over on Google+. I can give you my long number of 546-867-53, whatever the number is. So, but of course, if you go over to geekazine.com, you can find out where you can get a hold of me over on Google+. Of course, you can also find me on Facebook and Twitter, MySpace, and LinkedIn, and Yammer, and all those other good stuff, and go from there. So, but geekazine.com is where you want to go for that. We've got a great show for you today. We've got about 5 news articles, and we got a couple guests. We're using Google Hangout. We're going to try this out and see if this works in getting more interactivity and more guests on the show here. So we're gonna cut over to our group here. We're gonna start over on our left. We have from Canada. It's Debbie Webb. How you doing, Debbie?
Hi, Jeffrey. Good, thanks. How are you?
I am doing great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been into the internet marketing arena for a couple of years now, and I'm enjoying learning about it and helping out where I can.
Oh, okay. Do you have a website or anything like that that people can get a hold of you?
Yes, I'm at greatdanetraining.net.
All right.
Dogs are my passion.
Dogs are your passion. So if you have a dog and you have a question for dogs, Debbie's the person you go to, correct?
You bet.
All
You
right.
bet. I've also been raising and training Great Danes for 10 years now.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So I've always wanted to have a Great Dane, but I've never had the facility to hold a Great Dane. But I wanted a Golden Retriever too. So someday,
That works.
someday. So we also have Gabriel Guzman. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could just say Guzman.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Gabriel?
Well, I'm from Florida. I'm just a tech enthusiast. I started from way back in tech TV, and I've just been keeping up with what Leo Lepore has been doing and trying to start some podcasts. And if you want to follow me, right now it's just at Master Wolf. Instead of an L, you use the 1 for Twitter, and I'm on Google Plus. We're trying this out, and really interesting.
That is correct. So how long have you been in the IT area, you said? Gabriel?
No, I haven't been in. I'm just a tech enthusiast.
Yeah, but how long have you been a tech enthusiast?
Oh, since I was 10, so probably that's 13 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes, pretty much ever since I came to this country, I really love technology.
And what country are you originally from?
Oh, I'm from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I have a little bit of an accent.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, just so everybody knows, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the news of the week in over-the-top technology, set-top boxes, IPTV, all that other good stuff. We're going to start over on an article that I'm very excited about because I got mine last week, and I've been playing with it a lot, and that is the Roku 2. And ladies and gentlemen, the Roku 2 is now available for the masses, and it's $100, it's $60, $80, and $100 respectively, something like that. But the difference between the Roku and the Roku 2 is now you can get Angry Birds. Angry Birds is a part of the new gaming system. The new remote is a motion sensor remote running off of Bluetooth, just like the Wii they have on the Wii, and it's an amazing little box. And I gotta say, I've been really happy with it. The only problem I found with my Roku 2 is when it starts watching movies, it'll actually be blurry for like 2 seconds as it's buffering everything in, and then it clears itself up. So it's kind of a noticeable thing. So do you guys, first of all, I forgot to ask you guys, Gabriel, are you a cord cutter? Are you a person that still relies on cable TV, or have you gotten rid of it already?
Well, personally, in my life, I have, but I live with other people in my family, so we still have cable. But personally, I use just my Xbox, Netflix, Hulu, and pretty much that's all I use, and streaming to my Xbox.
How about yourself, Debbie?
I stick with satellite TV, but I really don't watch a lot.
Okay. Do you guys have do you have an over-the-top television solution like a Roku or a Boxy Box or a Google TV or even a PS3 or a Nintendo Wii
I have a PS3, but my husband uses it
for games or for watching TV?
more for games.
Oh, okay. Well,
We're
that's
still stuck in the Stone Ages.
well, maybe we can change you on this episode because that's the important thing is the awareness of how you could actually cut your cable and go from
You're
there.
welcome to try.
How about yourself, Gabriel?
Well, yeah, like I said, I just have an Xbox. I have all consoles, but I usually primarily use my Xbox 360. Sometimes a Blu-ray here and there. I use my PS3, but other than that, I'm pretty much just streaming all the way. It's just more convenient.
All right. Now, now that you guys know about like the Apple TV or the Roku 2, which is just basically a simple little computer box that sits next to your TV and gets whatever you need for video or audio. Are you thinking about getting something like that?
Well, I think in the future I might get a Roku too because I know that Lil Important from Twit is trying to do more HD broadcasting. So because my right now my Xbox does not get the any of the channels like Revision 3 or Twit. So I might actually just buy a new one since it's $100 now, right?
Yeah, 100. Well, the lower end one is $60. And the higher end one, if you want the Angry Birds, it's $100. The other big feature about the Roku 2, and this is kind of the most interesting feature about everything, is that with the Roku, the old version of the Roku, which was the XD/S, which I had, it was the reason why I got it was because it had wireless N in it, the top end wireless that you can get right now. And the lower end was just an Ethernet jack. So you needed to have a cable, an actual internet cable, go to your TV so you could plug in your Roku. Now with the Roku 2, they actually reversed that idea. So the Roku 2, the low end, the $60 model has the high end Wi-Fi, and the high end Roku 2 also has the high end Wi-Fi, but it also has an Ethernet jack. So it's kind of interesting that they made that flip flop and gave you and put that in there for for people that want to have the lower end or the higher end. How about you, Debbie? Have you been thinking about any type of over the top set?
It's sounding better and better all the time.
Oh, there's tons of options with whatever you get, whether it's Apple TV, whether it's Roku or Boxy or anything like that. Speaking of which, we'll go to our next news article because it's talking about Logitech and their Google TV box. Now, last year they made a very big splash about it and said, "Hey, we've got the Google TV," and Logitech got on board, and it was a pretty pricey box for what Apple came out with because it was about this time last year that the Apple TV came out and Google came out with their Google TV. But it was like a $249 Logitech Revue, but it kind of faltered, and now they're trying to get rid of it for $99, the same price as an Apple TV. But a lot of people say there's a lot of good stuff with the Logitech, even though some of the content has been blocked by providers out there. So, what are you guys' thoughts on what's going on over with Logitech and with Google TV?
Well, the Logitech TV was such a really failure. I heard like people were like retailers were just returning them, not even selling, and that's why they actually had to decrease the price because nobody was going to buy it. I mean, come on, $250 for a Google TV was not really a great incentive.
That's true.
And plus, I mean, you have Roku and all those other providers, but I mean, at least this actually made the Apple TV dropped its price, so now it's an even field between Roku, Apple TV, and Google TV from Logitech.
Competition is always a good thing.
That's true. That is true. But
Yep.
now that the TV box is about at $99, some people are seeing some viability to it. Although I still think that it's something that's a little bit tainted. It's got some good advantages, but it seems a little bit tainted. So I'm not sure if the masses would want to go for that or wait for whatever Google decides to go in the future.
I have a question. The first Roku had they had a CD port, right? So you can watch TVs. I mean, a DVD port, so you can watch DVDs and all that, right?
The first version of Roku, I don't think I've ever seen a Roku with a optical drive in it. No. The Apple TV, or I'm sorry, the Apple Mac Mini had an optical drive in. They just released the new versions of the Mac Minis, and those don't have the optical drives now. But I don't think Roku had an optical drive in it.
Mm, yeah. Well, I mean, I just think like for a consumer, $100 for an alternative to cable is really looking really good right now, and especially since Roku's with Netflix and Hulu, and it's just really a good incentive. And because cable is what you're gonna pay $100 a month anyways,
That's correct.
so it's much cheaper.
Yeah, it's true. So do you have the services? Because there are some pay services. Like for instance, if you go UFC fights on a Roku, you actually are paying for the fight. It's a pay-per-view price for the fight, but you're watching it on on this over-the-top television device. Um, m- they have other stuff like Netflix, of course, for $8 and Hulu Plus for $8. Do you have any of those services?
Yes, I have. Well, I used to have Hulu Plus, and I have Netflix, and I have HBO Go. I have all those services, so yes.
What happened?
And sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I got rid of my Hulu Plus because it was just kind of ridiculous. I just couldn't handle the ads, and plus, as well, most of us will know, you can't have Hulu Plus free content with a paid subscription. So it's kind of like different, which is really weird.
Yeah, but the feature for Hulu Plus was not as much of the advertisements, but so you could actually watch, like for instance, if
Yeah,
you could watch a whole season of shows instead of like the last two episodes or something like that.
well, right now that in Hulu free version, you can watch the last six episodes of the season, but they delayed, and after each week that they release an episode, they take it away. So it's kind of like if you were to watch the last six episodes, you watch the first one, and then the next week they take it out and then put a new one.
Okay.
And then yes, for the paid version, you can watch it on your cell phone, Xbox, or whatever service, like and even Roku.
Okay. But
That's pretty much why you have to pay more.
okay. Yeah, no, I have the service. I know what you're talking about. I've contemplated whether I want to keep it or not because all I do is watch one thing, and that's doesn't really justify $8 a month for it. So, what about yourself, Debbie? Do you have anything like Netflix or Hulu Plus or anything like that?
No, I don't, but wow, listening to you guys, is this a one-time fee for the Google TV?
For the Google TV to purchase the box itself, yeah, it is a one-time fee.
How about for Roku?
For Roku, it's well until the next version comes out, and then you pay another 60, 80, or $100 for it.
All right. Wow.
So,
Well,
and then if you get like Netflix, Netflix is $8 a month, and Hulu Plus is I think eight or $9 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
And then of course if you have anything else, that Roku does have a paid structure put into their system. So you'll see some of these channels, and you'll click on them, and you'll look at it, and they'll say, well, it costs you $2.99. Either it'll tell you it costs you to get the channel, a one-time fee, or it costs you a monthly fee to get the channel, or whatnot. Epix is the current featured channel up on Roku 2 right now, and if you had Epics with your cable provider, you can link to that. But if you don't, then you have to pay a monthly fee for Epics.
All right. So
So,
you get pretty much the same channels as in satellite TV?
no, well, yes and no. It depends on if if the companies have decided to get into the over-the-top game. Like for instance, well, a lot of the stuff is on Hulu Plus because it's easy. So you can get ABC, NBC, Fox, Comedy Central, and stuff like that over on the Hulu Plus side. There are every day there's new apps or new channels, I guess you could call it, coming onto these boxes that are giving you content. A couple months ago, they when what was his name? The political news guy. His name's escaping me right now. But anyway, uh,
Piers Morgan.
was it? No, no, wasn't. Was it Pierce? No, he was. This one was switching. Oh no, it's Keith Olbermann.
And okay.
Keith Olbermann, he decided he wanted to switch networks, but he wanted to do social media with it and get on over the top TV, but he couldn't do his show on something like Roku. So what he ended up doing was he sets it up so certain features are over on this over the top solution, whereas on whatever channel he's on, he's got all the content. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. 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 So anyway, so that's how over the top television is really game changer. You won't get like the TV shows that you really want, or not that you really want, but the TV shows that you'll see on cable might not be on over the top television. But give it time, and you might find yourself getting a lot of channels. Like for instance, HBO Go, which is our next article here. Um, HBO Go is connecting some of the TVs and the game consoles. CEO Jeff Books said that HBO and TV Everywhere service will soon be available to browsers, mobile devices, and what was it, the Xbox 360 or was it the PS3?
No, it was the Xbox.
It was the Xbox 360, yeah.
Yep.
So this is if you don't want cable, I love HBO myself, and some of the TV shows that come from HBO, and if I could just get HBO and not the other channels, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
So
the only problem right now is that the cable companies are really struggling and kind of like limiting what HBO can do because most of the money that HBO gets is from the cable companies. That's how they get the money. The cable subscribers get HBO, and then the cable subscribers pay HBO. But I mean, I think they're trying to get away from the cable companies and really try to make their own service. And I hope they actually succeed in this because I'm really enjoying HBO, especially Game of Thrones.
yeah, Game of Thrones was interesting to watch. I got to see a few episodes myself, and pretty impressed with it. How about you, Debbie? Do you have HBO on your channel lineup?
That's not one of them, but I have had the good fortune of watching HBO while on vacation in certain hotels, and I quite enjoy it. And if I was able to get just that with the current satellite packages, if you're going to get one extra channel, you've got to get a whole subscription of a bunch of channels. Next thing you know, you're paying like an extra $20, $30 a month.
Yep.
And yeah.
Do you have any paid services other than the regular standard package, or do you have like Showtime or anything like that?
We have things like the family package and much more movies. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
National Geographic too.
Oh
That
yeah.
one's big.
I,
And Discovery.
actually, those are the two that I really miss in not having cable. Especially Discovery. Some great stuff. The History Channel I miss a lot. But I found other ways to get content, whether it be from that channel or from other sources.
Yeah.
So,
Well, actually, you're not really missing that much because right now, pretty much that's one of the reasons why I'm don't really watch TV anymore because every channel is just reality TV show after reality TV show. I mean, History Channel has become now the channel for Pawn Stars, and then Discovery is Deadliest Catch and all those, the Bear Grylls show or whatever it's called. I mean,
okay.
pretty much they gotten rid of a lot of original content I used to love, like documentaries, and it's a really bad shame what happened to TV.
Okay. Well, I love Pawn Stars, so I guess I'd be watching that all the time.
Well, actually, going to that, you can actually watch full episodes now in the Discovery.com.
Oh,
They show
really?
you a couple. They show you an ad. I think in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end.
Well, I know that Netflix has the previous seasons of Pawn Stars on their channel. In fact, they got a lot of TV shows since a few weeks ago when Sony pulled all the stuff, all their movies, which was really sad because The Social Network was debuted on Stars. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have a Netflix subscription and you hook up on a PC with Internet Explorer, you can actually watch the Stars Live channel. But anytime a Sony movie comes on to the Stars Live channel, it gets blocked, and you get a blackout on that. So, yeah, that's that. If you have Netflix, you actually do have a pay channel in Stars.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I've seen that on my console. It says Xbox. It says Stars Live, but it doesn't really give you access. But I never. I usually just watch from my Xbox, so I never really use my PC.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, let's move on to the next article here because this is all about, like I said, this is all about the OTT, over the top television here, and this is a great article over on Broadband TV News. It's basically saying that over the top TV and VOD change, and I'm not sure what VOD stands for. Video on
Video on
demand.
demand.
Yeah, video on demand. That they're expecting to be about a $31 billion, or yeah, $31 billion by 2016. 31.1 billion on demand revenues, which means that what I was saying with the UFC, with the pay channels, the a la carte stuff, they'll be making at least 31.1 billion by 2016. And I personally think that number is way low. I think it's going to be somewhere in the lines of 100 to 120 billion by 2016. I think the boom will happen sometime in the next 8 to 12 months. So, what are your
Is
thoughts?
Yeah.
this
Go
is
ahead,
this
Debbie.
available on mobile devices?
On mobile devices?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this is not only over the top TV, but this is also for your smartphone. This is also for your iPad. Anything that deals with not getting it in the conventional cable way, that is considered a OTT, or video on demand. So yeah, you could go to a website and pay $24.95 and watch a series or something, or go up on iTunes. I have Mad Men on iTunes. I've been doing that for years. I get the HD versions for $35, and I have all the seasons because I love that show and I wanted it.
That's a good enough reason to have it.
Exactly.
Oh, I think Netflix just got Mad Men, right?
Yes, they did, and I'm watching it. So there goes what, 100 and some odd dollars down the drain.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's in HD. That's also another problem is they limit it depends on what content you got on Netflix that you either get HD or not on it, which is a damn shame.
Well, with the Roku too, they touted that Netflix came out with a version that actually goes into high definition, so you can watch high definition. Now, I don't know what's the case on the computer, whether it be PC or Mac. If
Hmm.
if you watch it there, if it's a 480p or it's at 720p or full 1080p. But my understanding with the Roku is that it's supposed to be at least a 720p in video size. And of course, it really depends on the movie. I mean, if you've got some one-star B movie, yeah, it's definitely not going to be in a full HD because nobody's watching it.
Well, well, it doesn't really tell you when you watch on the PC. It doesn't really tell you what definition it's running at. It just says it either says HD or not. I think it may be more than 420p because um I have a 21-inch flat screen monitor and it looks really good. So I'm guessing it, it must be more than 420. Maybe I don't think 720p, but maybe close to that.
Okay.
Obviously, depending on the content.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Debbie?
No, no, I was just looking over the Roku page again.
We're gonna get you sold on a Roku, right?
Yes,
Well, if you go over to Geekazine, you click on the link, then I get a little bit of credit for that. So.
I will do that. I think you've got me sold.
Oh, really?
Oh, I think so.
That's not the intent of the show well, it's the intent to show people that hey, you don't have to pay $100 a month for cable or get some content creator. There's a lot of great content creators, as Gabriel said, Revision 3 Twit. The group that I'm with is the Tech Podcast Network, and we create a lot of great shows over there at techpodcast.com on the tech side. So it's a great level amount of shows that you can get on demand at any time.
Now, I can plug it into the TV, right? But
Yep.
can I plug it into the computer while the TV is being used?
Um, not well. Yes and no.
Probably not a good idea.
Well, no, 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 no. It can be plugged into a computer, but you need a card that will accept the connection in. So you need a PC to TV type card.
Okay.
So you need a way to. It doesn't have like a VGA plug or something like that you can plug it into to put it into the computer. It doesn't have a USB out, so you can plug it into the computer that way. You'd have to figure out a new way to hook it up to the computer to use the computer monitor as a TV.
All right.
Well, it has HDMI out, right? So you could probably just plug it in into a laptop, a new laptop, or a newer PC that has an HDMI in, right?
But there is no laptops don't have an HDMI in; they have an HDMI out. I have yet to see a notebook out there that has an HDMI in cable yet. In fact, in the over the top. We were just talking about this yesterday. I was talking with Stephen Haywood and a bunch of others about it because there's companies coming out with these new cards that you can do HDMI in, but they're not for public consumption yet.
Oh, wow.
There's a card by Blackmagic for your PC and I think for your Mac for $189. It's just like a regular PC in card. You can hook up your cable to it and you can hook up the HDMI ports to it. The idea of that is so you can record your gaming sessions, not for any other purposes than that. But the a lot of the cameras are also getting HDMI, and there's no good way to do it in a lot of laptops. Any HDMI cable is an HDMI out, not an HDMI in cable.
Okay.
So we'll
Thank
move.
you.
Yeah, yeah, not a problem, not a problem. Okay, well, let's move to the last article here and go from there. This is over on Fierce IPTV, and what this is saying is Comcast, which of course it's a cable provider, but they're investing in IPTV and over-the-top television in their own ways. Of course, they bought out NBC Universal at the beginning of the year. They came out with a very strong second quarter result, even though people are the pay TV subscribers are leaving. They are still making lots of money, and part of it is because of the over-the-top content that they've created. They had let's see, their second quarter results included revenue from 14.3 billion and an increase of 51% from a year ago, topping Wall Street estimates. They have a reported net income of 1.2 billion or 37 cents per share, up from 844 million a year ago. So it's an amazing thing. Comcast is not only on the bandwagon for this, but they're ready to make any type of switch if we decide that we want to watch TV on a seashell or something like that. Thoughts on that?
Mm, Yeah, I'm actually really glad that companies have finally started to understand that O- OTT or of the top TV is actually a real contender. Right now, I think most companies are still kind of afraid to show their content online. I mean, I know you can't even watch any episodes of Breaking Bad online, not even on the AMC website. I don't know why. I mean, if you do it like the discovery.com where you show three ads, one in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end, you could get a lot more revenue because right now the only way you can get is DVD or you pirate, and it's just easier to watch it online.
Any thoughts from you, Debbie?
No, I'm just sitting back soaking this all up, but I'm really wondering, why are they bringing in revenue
Well,
despite?
what they're doing is what they did was they made a tiered plan. They realized that the cable is a dying industry. So what they've done is they've poised themselves in a situation where you can get their content not only through a cable but also through some online internet means. And they've been in the news in the last year and a half because they've done stuff that people have liked and they've done stuff that people have really hated. And the one thing that has been very ironic is a lot of people love it, but they hate Comcast. So they're just in on this fence. But Comcast is doing everything that they can to keep an even keel in the cable end of things and in the internet end of things.
All right.
So does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and it's wonderful that they're adapting with change rather than just laying back and letting someone else take over.
Exactly. I know. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that it's kind of ironic that like a lot of people are complaining right now from the Caps that Comcast is constituted. I know Chris Perillo is really upbeat about it in Google Plus because I think he pretty much gets caught up. Yeah, and not even that. It's not. Sometimes it's not even reliable. But it's gonna be. I don't like that. It's gonna be a lot of conflict where Comcast kind of like favors their own content versus others because uh, let's say in the future their content is not going to your data cap, but let's say something like Netflix will. So what that happens is more people are going to use their own Comcast own services rather than Netflix, and that's really bad. But I think I forget what company was had a lot of problems with this in the past. I think it might have been Comcast that they were saying that they were favoring their own services versus companies like Netflix.
Yeah.
But
It's always been last couple of years we've been dealing with what's called net neutrality, and that is these cable companies not throttling down internet connections because of the fact that they're going to a third party site and they're not getting revenue off of these third party sites or anything like that. So they've tried to create net neutrality. So if I go and I download some important file, I don't have my internet service provider going, wait a minute, he's downloading way too much, way too fast, way too soon. Let's cut him down to a slow crawl to get his stuff. And of course, companies like Comcast can do that. They can have super fast um, channels on their internet pages, which are you can get content almost at the speed of light, and then try to go to a third-party site like Hulu or Netflix or something like that, and then find that they're taking it at a slow crawl, and it's frustrating. But until we get those types of laws in place, unfortunately, that's what they can do.
yeah, now right now that Netflix is doing a lot to combat this. I know they're trying to to combat all this. I remember a couple of weeks ago reading an article about it, and that's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
somebody has to help us.
Yes, totally agreed. Totally agreed. Any other thoughts on that, Debbie?
No,
You're just soaking it all up in here. You didn't know what to expect with this one, did you?
well, you know what? It's something that I'm a little bit interested in, and that's enough.
No, that's perfect, and I'm glad I'm glad you signed up for the channel. I mean, you contributed a lot, especially as a person that doesn't really uh, deal with over the top television right now. But I have a feeling that you're representing the 90% of people out there that haven't even started to think about this, but will be thinking about this in the next 8 to 12 months. And especially around Christmas when people start, because yeah, like I said, you can get one of these boxes for $60. That's a Christmas present right there for some
Oh
people.
yeah, nice.
So, all right, well, Debbie, how can people get a hold of you? Once again, where's your website out there?
You can reach me at greatdanetraining.net
Great.
or,
Okay.
sorry, greatdanetraining.net
Okay.
is what it was.
Okay.
Or I'm available on Google Plus at Debbie Webb
And do you have a
and
Twitter handle?
Web Dogs. That's WEBBDOGS.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Debbie, for coming on to the show. Gabriel, what about
Thank
yourself?
you.
Yep.
Well, right now you can follow me on Twitter at Master Wolf. That's instead of an L, a one, and on Google Plus, Gabriel Guzman. I'll have a link for on the show notes if because there's many Gabriel Guzmans. And right now I'm just trying to make other podcasts, and I'll let you guys know on my Twitter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know when you got some shows going, and I'll put them up on the site over at geekazine.com. In the meantime, Jeffrey Powers here. Thanks a lot for Debbie and Gabriel for hanging out for me, and I hope you guys come back next week because I think you guys contributed a lot to this, and I think we got a lot more underway. Actually, speaking of next week, I will not be around next week. We actually have an interview that I've got to post for the OTT, but then 2 weeks from now we will be back. We'll do another Google Hangout and go from there. So. For the OTT, this is Jeffrey Powers. Once again, Gabriel Guzman and Debbie Webb, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you next time on the OTT over at www.geekazine.com. You can follow me at Twitter at Geekazine, and of course, my Google profile will be in the show notes. So thanks again, and take care.